go to your calls. Charlie in Cranston, he's been hanging on. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, I'll trust Drake May to go out there when AVP can call a play and set up this play in the middle of the field. And it has to be successful. And thoughts and prayers to the Jets and their travel troubles. Thanks, guys.
Yes. Hello to the child there, Charlie. T's and P's to the New York Jets for their brutal travel schedule here over the first couple of weeks of the season. I guess it makes it really bad if the Patriots lose tonight based on that travel schedule that the Jets have been subjected to. What do you like in this game tonight, Bert? Are you allowed to say? I know you're part of the coverage now. Are you allowed to give a prediction?
I would pick the Jets. I think the Jets are like coming close to being what they want, what they envision themselves being. Jermaine Johnson's a big loss. And it's another turf monster loss where you have an Achilles on the artificial surface, which is another story altogether. But I think how the Patriots handle the Jets' defensive front is going to determine what happens in the game. And part of that's going to be running the ball so they can't just pin their ears back and come. But how do they handle Quinnen Williams? How do they handle Will McDonald, who had 3 sacks last week against the Titans? How do they handle Clemens? How do they handle Tack McKinley, who's going to play a bigger role with Jermaine Johnson out? Like, that to me is going to tell the story of the entire game, is the Jets' defensive front against the Patriots' offensive line.
So Charlie talks about Alex Van Pelt, and we've been talking this week after the game on Sunday of how do the Patriots throw the ball more? How do they find an explosive play? What can the offensive coordinator do, Bert, to find that play for this team in this game?
I mean, run the ball well, first and foremost. You know, like I think that's the biggest thing is like if you can run the ball well and you can get the Jets to have to commit to bringing guys down in the box, and that's where you can catch them. So I look, like the Patriots don't have a lot of guys who are just going to run by people. I guess Tyquan Thornton would be the one, and we've seen that have we really seen a lot of him getting the big plays down the field. So I think it's going to have to happen through the run game really chipping away and causing the Jets to creep up, and now you make a big play off of play action. I think that's how it has to come.
Jay is in Bolton. Hey, Jay.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Hey, so something that might offset that brutal Jets travel schedule is, taking a look at it, the Pats played an overtime game on Sunday night, and when you look at it, teams coming off an overtime game with 4 days of rest or less versus a team that hasn't coming off an overtime game, they're 3-23 against the spread in 2002.
Wow.
And only 6 of those 23 teams have actually won the game. So I know the Jets have that travel schedule, but curious on your thoughts on the Pats' impact. Having an overtime game there doesn't fare well historically on a pretty big sample size. So curious on if you think the Pats can keep it close.
So, Jay, 3-23 against the spread. What was the straight up? Did you have that?
Yeah, 6 out of 23 have won the game on those teams that played that overtime game on 4 days of rest or less.
All right, so six times in 22 years a team's managed to win that game.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that info,
That's
Jay.
interesting.
That's going deep. That's doing the research there, Jay.
So the overtime game affects
the extra playing on a Sunday, short week on the road. 6 times in 22 years the team's been able to win that game. My guess, I don't know who the 6 teams are, but I'm guessing they were good teams.
I'm guessing, yeah. Probably teams quarterbacked by people like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, and yeah.
And not Jacoby Brissett.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Okay. Matt's in Rhode Island.
That's where someone's going to look it up, and it's going to turn out like Brissett did it with the Colts. In like 17. You know what I mean?
Matt's in Rhode Island. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's up, guys? Just first before the game, I think they should have fired Sal and hired Belichick for this year, blank check. I still think he might be there next year. But is this the week, after 2 games that the Jets just say, yeah, we're bringing everyone up and show us otherwise? It completely shut down this offense? All right, thanks.
Are the Jets going to bring it and completely stifle the Patriots offense?
I do think that there's like an element of the Jets had to hear about this 3-game stretch for so long and think about it for so long and plan for it for so long that now like there's that light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? Like, and now they're going to have this real chance to reset after tonight's game and like kind of get on with their season, where maybe that does exist. Maybe there is that like, all right, we need just one last like burst out of the gate. and we get that, and then we're good, and we're sort of rolling into the rest of our schedule. So that certainly could exist.
Tony's in Worcester. Tony.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, listen, I'm glad to hear people finally talking about the importance of the offensive line, especially in terms of protecting a quarterback and an inexperienced quarterback. In the Pats case last year, not you necessarily, I don't remember, I can't tell you who, but the majority of the media was totally enthralled with the idea of picking the replacement quarterback without even thinking about how he's going to be protected, who he's going to throw to. And they kept saying, you have a chance of getting this quarterback. You got to take the chance regardless of anything else. I just hope we're seeing these young quarterbacks being thrown to the wolves with crappy offensive lines and getting hammered. I hope it's a trend where we get back to the way we build teams from the bottom up instead of from the top down. It's, we're going to see these young guys getting hammered and killed and knocked out of the league over and over again, or delayed in their development because of this attitude and this infatuation with quarterbacks in this league, and not just the league, the media.
An offensive line has never made a quarterback, though. So you can have a great offensive line, but a great offensive line does not make a good quarterback.
No, but I would say this. Like, if you look at the guys who've succeeded at young points in their career, Patrick Mahomes had Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. Lamar Jackson had Ronnie Stanley and Orlando Brown. Josh Allen had Deion Dawkins, who came in at the year before and wound up being a really competent starting left tackle and a veteran right tackle. So
no, you're right. You're right. The Patriots have done a very bad job building an offensive line. It's been going on for years. Elliott Wolf, Matt Groh, and many of the other front office individuals have been here over the course of this team, failing over and over and over again to draft and develop an offensive line.
They're still chasing the Isaiah Wynn miss.
And the guy at the top of this organization in terms of personnel decision-making, Elliott Wolf, told us that Chukwueze Okorafor was an acceptable answer at left tackle. He played 12 snaps, got benched, and then quit football. That's what this guy told you was an acceptable answer at left tackle. He had never played there before. I mean, I'm concerned about what they're going to do next offseason and the offseason after that and the offseason after that, because they have been swinging and missing on this offensive line for the better part of a decade.
So I personally think, like, if it's a weird dynamic on the offensive line, so I'd be interested to hear your opinion on this, because, like, I feel like if you don't have a left tackle, you have nothing. Like, look at the Niners, right? They have Trent Williams. They haven't been great outside of Trent Williams, but Trent Williams gives them an anchor. The Rams were good for all of those years with Andrew Whitworth at left tackle. Can you name another offensive lineman that they had? Probably not.
You need center. You need a center and a left tackle.
Right. So, like, if you don't have a left tackle, you have nothing. It almost doesn't matter what else you have. It's really hard to manage it if you don't have that position taken care of. And, like, I would just say this, like, what did you want them to do? When they decided they were taking a quarterback at 3, right? What did you want them to do? Because I've heard them get killed for this. And it's fair to say over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years that they didn't do anything. This isn't a position you can go out and buy. Like, there are certain positions that you can't just go out and say, like, yes, we're going to spend X amount of money and go get one. It doesn't matter how bad we are, how much we've lost in recent. We're just going to go buy one. It's not a position where you can do that. Like, you can do that with a guard.
I don't know if you looked at it.
Go ahead, so.
I don't know if you looked at it, too. The free agent list for next year and the tackle list, once you get past the LSU kid, it's not a great one.
Yeah.
So it's not like that guy's sitting there waiting for you.
It rarely is.
But, I mean,
it rarely is a great one.
You have to
Beetle and I talked about this. Why can't you take a second rounder and develop the
Don't draft Jalen Polk.
Get a big kid in the second round.
Right.
It's not a knock on Jalen Polk. They also had multiple fourth-round picks. They could have moved on the board. When the tackle run started, they had the ability to trade. They have good picks. They were a bad team. They have good picks to trade.
Here's the one to watch. The one to watch to me would be Tyler Guyton. The Cowboys got him at the bottom of the first round. I think he was the 29th pick. And the Cowboys really know what they're doing with offensive linemen. We've seen that over the years. They've drafted and developed. They've been outstanding in that area. And they drafted Tyler Guyton at the end of the first round. Jalen
Polk went 8 picks later.
That would be the second guess, would be could you have traded up to go get Tyler Guyton? If Tyler Guyton becomes something, and again, like I'm basing this on the team that he went to, which generally knows what they're doing with offensive linemen, could you have traded up to go and get him? Because you tried to trade up, and like there was some talk that you were trading up for Xavier Worthy. Was Tyler
who went at 28? Xavier Worthy went 28th to Kansas City.
Was Tyler Guyton the guy that you missed on?
So they were more interested in trying to trade up into the back end of the first round for Xavier Worthy, who we like, right? There's obviously some real potential there.
Yep.
But what's more valuable to you, Xavier Worthy as you try to weaponize the offense, or a potential left tackle?
The left tackle.
The left tackle. So that is my second guess. My second guess was back
also,
at the draft.
It's much harder to find one.
Also,
it's much harder to find one.
But is it okay to complain that there were other free agents, not top-tier guys, not all pros, not former, Pro Bowlers, but there were other guys available on the tackle market that at least had played the position. Even if they didn't play it well, they had played the position before.
At the top of the tackle market? Well,
no, not top, like down the board of the free agent tackles that were out there. So,
give me names. Jonah Williams would be one.
I think that I don't even know that I hold Jonah. Who were we talking about yesterday? Who are we talking about?
I mean, here's the
yesterday?
thing: is for example, Tyron Smith. To me, Tyron Smith's not coming here. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
Tyron Smith's
He's
flat
play
out
for
not coming.
Contender.
Right. So, there's that veteran player that might be out there that's probably not coming to play for you, which is a consequence of the losing. Right.
But then pay him more.
I just don't know who you're going to go and get. That's the thing. Is
who's Mike Reese talking about with us?
Giants. Illuminor?
No, I had mentioned Illuminor. I said he would have been better.
Not Runyon.
Who was he talking about?
Because Runyon's a guard, but
he
Runyon
gave us
has
a great
some
name
tackle.
the other day.
It wouldn't have been Runyon.
I would have remembered if it was him. I don't know, but I just think
Van Roten.
You have to come up
the
with.
The Giants also got Van Roten.
I don't think that was it. No.
Okay.
I don't think you can say that was an acceptable answer. Like that, you had to do better than that. Even if you got someone else who isn't good, someone that at least you can plug in and play,
I'm
even not play well.
I'm fascinated to see what Caden Wallace does tonight. I think that was another one where that's a huge swing to think that a guy who's a right tackle was going to be able to play left tackle. Now, in fairness, Caden Wallace is the guy who was the reason that he wasn't playing left tackle at Penn State. Was the 11th pick, right? It was Olu Fashanu, who's with the Jets now. So, there's a reason why he wasn't playing left tackle. The guy who played left tackle was wound up being an elite prospect. So, I'll be interested to see where that swing on Caden Wallace goes, too.
All right, we got more with Bert Breer.
But if he was so good, he probably would have won the job.
That, too.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.